Hey guys, welcome back to another gear review. Today I've got something really quite special with me. This is the Rock Shield from One Tigris in OD green with a snow skirt. Let's talk about it. So guys, this is the same tent you've seen me camp in quite a few times. I've got the normal ripstop nylon version. It's like a sandy kind of color. You've seen it a couple of times and I think it's absolutely fantastic. It's a great tent. It's great for pretty much all conditions that I've had it in. It's a really fantastic tent. But when I bought that one, I also got this one. I wasn't sure which version I'd prefer, so I got both of them. They're not super expensive, so it kind of made sense for me. This is the first time I'm going to be using this particular version. So the differences between this one and my other one is basically this is made out of terry cotton. So it's a material, really thick canvas material. It's also got a stove jack. It's also got ventilation holes on the sides, which my other one doesn't have. This also should be a hell of a lot darker than my other tent. So in the mornings, sun comes up, you know, it gets very bright in my other tent. This one will keep it quite dark. So I'm really excited to get into this. So let's get into the setup, shall we? Hey. Oh wow, even the stuff that the poles and whatever come in, it's also terry cotton. Isn't that gorgeous? Wow, that's so nice. Sure, I like it already. Oh guys, this is amazing. It's so weighty. I love it. And can you tell? It's my favorite color. Yes. Wow, I love this thing. This looks so cool. And because I already know how to set this up from my previous tent, should be relatively quick. Now I just got to figure out where the stove jack is. Do you see it? Ah, it's right there. Cool. So that should mean, right, cool. So I'm going to orientate it this way. So guys, I've learned by setting this thing up a couple of times how to do it. So if you bear with me while I smash this guy out. So guys, the first thing I like to do is I want to peg out this middle one at the back. Just sort of starts giving it its structure. I'm probably going to do it just slightly over my ground sheet. The floor is very wet, so my knees are going to get a bit grubby. But yeah, so we'll go just here. Now, if you haven't seen my 10 peg video, I'll link it up here for you. But check my angle, guys. Then I'm just going to make sure the snow skirts are pulled across. Now, these panels here at the bottom, this is also what's new on this version and not my other one. So this will stop wind and snow if you're in the snow and all that sort of stuff, and rain. It'll stop all of that from coming underneath the end of the tent, which I think is fantastic. Really good addition. I wish they would have done that with the other one, but I guess because the material is a lot thinner, it'll be quite prone to flapping. So maybe that's why. Anyway, let's keep going. Alright guys, so the main structure of the tent is done by inserting these two poles into the centers. So let's do that now. It's kind of easy to do it from the outside because you can kind of tell where the hole is. Right, nice. That means I've got everything relatively straight, so I'm going to be using my guidelines tonight just because I can, and I don't feel like doing the other one, so let's do it. So we'll start off with going out the 2 main poles. Really nice, generous loops they've got here. That should be quite good. That's the first one. Let's do this side. So guys, when you set this tent up for the first time, there is a little bit of stuff you've got to connect, like guy lines and things like that. It means your first setup always takes a little longer, but once you've got all your guy lines permanently connected, setup actually is really, really fast. So I'm just going to get these 2 guy lines pegged out. Start this side. Now you want to make sure you're pegging them out a reasonable distance away. Now guys, the thing to remember with this style of tent is you can set it up as well as you want. There's always going to be a little bit of adjustment you need to do once everything is connected and in the ground. So I'm going to finish the setup and I'll come back to you. Sorry guys, one thing I forgot to mention. At this point what you want to do is finish setting up the front corners. So I'm going to do that now and then we can put the pole in. Alright. Just going to tuck these in. That also makes it super easy to close it down at night because you've already got the pegs in place. You can just unhook the little loop to lift everything up and then put it back down at night. I really like that feature actually. You guys can probably see what I've done wrong here. Let's fix it. Got into the wrong way. There we go. I'm a little embarrassed that I got that wrong. It's not usually my vibe. There we go. Cool. So at this point everything is kind of connected and standing. Now we can start adjusting a few things. I'd like to pull this guy out that way, so I'm going to move this peg. Cool. Alright, now I'm going to adjust my center pole. And there we go. I feel like the tent's deployed. Amazing. I love it. Oh, it's so stunning. I honestly think this is going to be my new favorite tent. I love everything about it. It's phenomenal. The only thing left for us to do is just to peg these out. So let's do that now. As even though I'm doing, you know, all the pegging out for the first time, this tent is probably one of the fastest ones I've ever set up. For the size that it takes up, and then in return the space it gives you, I think this tent is very, very hard to beat, in my opinion. Here we go guys, the One Tigris Rock Shield in terry cotton, OD green with the snow skirt. Good Lord, I think this is fantastic. I think this is absolutely fantastic. For a winter tent, this is very hard to beat. I love it, I love it. Let's have a look at the details. Alright guys, so we're here around the back of the tent. I thought I'd just run you through quickly how this all operates. So as you can see, I've got 2 guy lines pegged out. That sort of lifts this wall up and out a little bit. It makes this wall a little sheerer on the bottom to give you that little extra space in the when you're lying down at the back here. But one of the most important things to notice about this tent compared to my other one is, as you can see here at the bottom, it's got these snow skirts. They're called snow skirts, but that basically stops wind and cold air from getting in there too much, which is one of my major problems with the Rock Shield, the normal nylon version. It doesn't have that, where this does, and I think it will make a huge difference on the inside. The other thing that you'll notice is I've got this orientated. I think this is actually the right way to do it. but you could very easily swap it around and have this side be the side that lifts up. So either which way you can do it. And the only question is whether or not you want this extra side panel deployed. Because if you put it up in this orientation, that side panel is deployed. If you put it up the other way, this one isn't, and it ends there. So winter, summer, wind, no wind, privacy, it's up to you. You decide how you want to set this thing up. Another cool thing to note is this is a stove jack. It's got a built-in stove jack, so you can put a hot stove, a tent stove in there, and during winter you'll be super toasty. It'll be amazing, which is something I might try at some point, but not today, not this time. The other thing that's different is we have these top vents. Now, if you're in a canvas tent, or if you've ever been in a canvas tent, you know they're quite prone to condensation, especially on the inside. So those vents help to release some of the hot air during the night, which helps sort of manage your condensation on the inside of the tent, because the last thing you want is to pack this thing away if it's damp or wet. If it is, by the time you get home, you have to unpack it and dry it out completely before you store it. Otherwise it will mold and it's just not awesome. So just keep that in mind. Any cotton canvas tent, you'll have to pack away completely dry, or you'll have to dry it when you get home. There's no getting around that, guys. So keep that in mind. Little vents and stuff do help, but they're not going to stop all the condensation at night. So yeah, one little tip there for you. Let's go around the front. Yeah, so here we are on the front of the tent. As you can see, I've rolled up the snow skirts on the front here, which is great. They give you these little toggles to like keep this from flapping in the wind and getting in your way, which is awesome. The poles that the tent come with is the standard One Tigris aluminium pole. I think they're really good. I haven't broken one yet. They seem to be able to keep quite a bit of force. So yeah, it's nice, awesome pole. Now, let me just show you something. I'm going to get in here. Can you see how incredibly nice and dark it is in here? It's phenomenal. It is so nice and dark. I love that. And this color is so brilliant and intense. Guys, this is really phenomenal. I'm very impressed with this tent so far. And you know, it takes a hell of a lot to impress me when it comes to a tent. But this is brilliant. I really like what they've done with this. This to me feels like a proper winter tent, especially because you can close it down. And I think that is just absolutely incredible. Guys, I'm a huge fan. I'm gonna keep going, setting up the rest of my camp at this beautiful campground. But as far as my initial thoughts go on the One Tigris Rock Shield Terry Cotton, it's an A+, absolute A+. I'll keep updating you. The more we use this thing, it'll probably be, for the rest of the season, I think it'll probably be used maybe 4 more times or 5 more times before we go into another season. And I'll update you at the end of the season how this thing performed. But right now, as I stand, wicked cool, wicked cool. One Tigris, another massive win for you guys. I love the style of tent. It's so easy to set up, it's so easy to work with. It's very, very livable on the inside. Wow, I'm a massive fan. I'm a massive fan. I'm gonna have so much fun camping in this thing tonight. But yeah, I'm gonna keep going with my camp, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're in the market for a tent, have a look at some of One Tigris' stuff. It's a brand out of China. If that bothers you, then don't do it. But I rate their gear. Maybe not all of it, but their tents, as far as I'm concerned, are brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. They did not sponsor this video. They have no creative input in it. I bought this with my own money. I did my own research. I'm not influenced by them at all, but I do like their gear. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. I'll see you again. Ciao.